Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds number 40. So this is where I like to collect together all the different music that I've purchased over the past week and present it to you. And I get it from different places like my local record store, but also online retail like Amazon, eBay, and more. And for this past week, I picked up 16 new music finds, which breaks down as 13 CDs, 2 box sets, and 1 book. So before I get into all that though, if you are new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with New Music Finds, episode number 40. All right, so as always, we kick off with brand new releases here, and I think the biggest one up that everyone is interested in, it's the Kiss Destroyer 45th anniversary, in this case, deluxe edition or super deluxe edition box set. So I not only picked up the box set, but I also picked up the 2 CD edition of this. The difference being that the box set, 4 CDs, 1 Blu-ray that's included in there, whereas this is just 2 discs, but the second disc that's in here has a selections of from the box set. Nowhere near as many rarities as what's in the box set. So the box set in particular, I picked it up really just for 1 disc, which is this one here that I'm holding, and it's the Destroyer era demos. There's 15 tracks, 13 of which have never made it onto a Kiss album before. 3 of those, though, are tracks that would later turn up on Gene Simmons' solo album from 1978, the one that was done under the banner of Kiss. But never on Kiss albums, and still, even if you take away those 3, there are 10 tracks that have never made it on a Kiss album. So pretty cool there. For me at least, it's totally worth it. Plus there's just a ton of memorabilia that is included within this. And I have done a full review and unboxing for this. So of course I'm going to leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. But there you go. That's those 2 items, major items, and worth it in my opinion, at least for the price tag, because I know that was a big concern to a lot of people. All right, next one up is Sting, The Bridge. Brand new studio album from him, 10th one at that. And of course, he's the former Police frontman, so he's got that going for him. But this album here is really good. I wasn't expecting it to be as good, number one, as the last album and or as good as it is. He tends to change styles between albums and things of that nature. And this one is different, but it is still more in that rock vein, more pure in the sense of the sound and what it is than what he's done some of the past, where he tends to mix in a lot of different styles and things of that nature. And we still have some of that going on here, but this album, really, really enjoying it so far. Again, done a full review of the Sting as well. I'll leave a link in the description. You can check both of those out if you want. All right, the next one that I picked up, Exodus, Persona Non Grata, 11th studio album from them. This one here is the first one with Gary Holt since he came back from Slayer. Slayer called it a day, so he's now back in Exodus and finally making a new album. Really, really good stuff here. Also, despite battling cancer, Tom Hunting, their drummer, still performs on this, or at the time I should say he was battling. He's supposed to be in the clear. Let's cross our fingers and hope for the best regarding that. But this album here, fantastic. I suppose if Slayer isn't going to be making brand new albums, at least we've got Exodus doing this, and hopefully we'll get a whole bunch more, thrash releases from other great bands over the next year. Certainly waiting for a lot of them to do things, in particular like Anthrax, where it's been a solid 5 years from them. Okay, the next thing up that we've got is Animals Reimagined. It's a tribute to Pink Floyd. Kind of a cool thing. It's the full album done in its entirety with a lot of big name prog musicians playing on it. So it is a various artist thing that come together to do this. It's got Martin Barre from Jethro Tull, Patrick Moraz from the Moody Blues and Yes, Jordan Rudess and James LaBrie from Dream Theater, John Davison from Yes, And even Graham Bonnet, who's not really prog, does play in Rainbow, but also Alcatraz, maybe more in the metal world. But he sings on this, and so that was kind of a cool thing there. James LaBrie, of course, another vocalist. Arthur Brown from the 60s doing that hit Fire. He's on here. But, you know, they do the whole album. It's titled as Animals Reimagined. It's still pretty much exactly what you'd expect, but they do embellish a lot of it. And each performer does sort of their signature sound and style on it. So you get different keyboard sounds and things throughout when you have Jordan Rudess versus Patrick Moraz and so forth. And Rick Wakeman's on here as well. So really, really cool group of people. All right, now this next one here I know was a surprise to a lot of you when I did a new music release thing on Friday, and I showed you the stuff that came in there. But I do like Adele, and this is her 4th studio album, number 4, or 30 I should say. It's the 4th one that came out though. And while previous to, or the previous work that she's done, this is very similar to it. It does focus more on soul, gospel, jazz, and orchestration. And she's had all of that in past releases. So no different there. But this one here just, I think, also had some odd choices in terms of the production. It's got some auto-tuned vocals on it. It's got Adele talking in this recording, talking to her son, kind of narrating, explaining her feelings on things. She's crying on it. I mean, full-on sobbing type crying on it. And just overall, those different production things that are mixed into it and the different styles really has me disappointed as a whole on this album. I don't get disappointed very often on releases. Only one song was released in advance of this, which is Easy on Me, and that one is very classic Adele, the stuff that's like on her past, at least the past 2 studio albums, 21 and 25. So I expected more of that. It wasn't that, and maybe that's also just because I'm not fully immersed in that genre era of things, but it was overall a disappointment for me. So moving on to some other good stuff. I went to my local Barnes & Nobles and picked up some things while out this past week. One of them being some past new releases that I just didn't pick up on release day at the time. So one of them being George Harrison, All Things Must Pass. Originally 1970 release, of course now getting a 50th anniversary release, even though it is actually the 51st year. We're going to notice that on the next 2 things I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But obviously, former Beatles guitarist, and this one here is a 3 CD version of a much bigger box set that is available. So it's got the original double album, but it's also got a disc of rarities and stuff in here. It's outtakes, jams, stuff like that. So the 2-disc original version has a 2020 stereo mix. So another thing showing that this was probably supposed to come out last year, but obviously with the pandemic and whatnot, it was pushed back. All right, the next one I picked up is Fleetwood Mac Live 1980 40th Anniversary Edition, 3-disc edition. So it's got the original 2-disc, and then it's got a 3rd disc in here. And the 3rd disc in here, all previously unissued live recordings, none of the tracks between the 3 discs repeat. So it's like having 3 full discs of live Fleetwood Mac, which is really great. The 3rd disc is being released separately on Record Store Day, which is this coming Friday, November 26th. Don't forget if you're looking forward to that. And they're going to release it on vinyl as alternate live. And so I was hearing a lot about that, and I decided, hey, maybe I should just pick up this release, and I can listen to it on my favorite format, CD. All right, and then the final previous new release that I'm picking up a little late on the game here, Black Crowes, Shake Your Money Maker, 30th anniversary. Also, originally coming out in 1990, so really celebrating its 31st anniversary here. This one, a 2 CD set. Disc 1 is the original album remastered, and Disc 2 has a whole bunch of unreleased songs, B-sides, and demos. Now, I did actually pick this up when it came out, but the disc that was supposed to be the B-sides, outtakes, and demos was a live recording. They had put the wrong music on the disc, so I ended up returning it. I didn't feel comfortable buying another version. I assumed that any other copies at that time were going to be the same way. I figured I would just sit and wait for a bit and try again later. And that's what I did, and this time I got the right music on it. And so, as I mentioned, all three of those really were celebrating their anniversaries in 2020, but I think COVID pushed them back, and that's why we are now celebrating those anniversaries 1 year later in 2021. All right, and so since it was Barnes & Noble's, I also picked up a book, in this case, Hot Stuff, the story of the Rolling Stones, and it's as told through memorabilia. And so this thing here is really kind of cool. It collects together all kinds of cool posters, memorabilia and things, and it really just tells the story of the Stones through all of this stuff, and it's all from one guy's collection. This guy holds the Guinness Book of World Record for the most music memorabilia collected by one artist, and in this case, the Rolling Stones. So I'm a big fan of music memorabilia and stuff like that. So for me, this book is really cool. It may not be the typical band history kind of things, but you guys know I know most of that stuff anyways. So I was very interested in checking out all the different things that have come out to promote the band, the cool little collectibles and stuff. I have some of these things. I've got matches from Flashpoint, the album Flashpoint that it was promoting, and I've got the 3D glasses from a 3D show that they did back in the very early 90s when it was still the red and blue glasses. I've got the luggage tag. I've got other things that they have done, and all just kind of cool stuff to be checking out. All right, and then I've got what I would call catalog albums. 6 of these things that have been out. I may have picked these up as used or just new releases, but they've been out for a long time kind of thing. Now the first one here though comes from eBay actually, and it's Alice Cooper Dirty Diamonds, his 17th studio album from 2005. 12 tracks. It actually has a bonus on this one called Stand. So one, I already owned the album, but it was a promotional copy, white label, no artwork, nothing like that. This was the last album of his that I didn't own a full, complete artwork copy, so I wanted to pick that up, and I've looked for a while. The album has been in and out of print and stuff like that, but the only version that I could originally find was a digipack version. You guys know I don't really like those, and I started hunting around, and I found this one, and I don't know if this was I think this was a Canadian release, but I found that it came out in jewel case in other markets, so I ordered it off of eBay, and I got it that way. So that's really what that is. Otherwise, not the first time I'm hearing it kind of thing. Then I picked up this, Beatles, Let It Be Naked. So again, been out for a long time. 12th studio album, originally came out in 1970, but this one here has a new mix number 1. It's also got all this background chatter and things like that stripped away from it, and other sound effects and things of that nature. And according to Paul McCartney, this version of it better represents what it is that they were really trying to go for when they were going for that idea of it being stripped down. There's a lot of embellishments and things added later to it, so this one here they feel like is more the reality of the album. Now unfortunately it'll probably never be accepted the way the original album is, because that one holds such a special place in people's hearts and minds, but I never picked up that album because I didn't like all of the studio chatter on it. Well, it's removed from this, and this now finally sounds like a studio album and not something live in the studio. So definitely interested in that, picked that up and enjoying it. And then a band that I had never gotten into before, always aware of, but finally heard a song on the most recent Halloween movie, and it was the band Ghost. They play the song in the final credits, and I had to Shazam it, and it just kind of blew my mind, which then made me search out. And so I picked up 4 releases from Ghost, and this latest one is the one that really caught my ear. This one, which is Prequel, and the song Rats on it, and Faith, and Dance Macabre, all those songs just totally jumped out at me and really grabbed my attention. So finally, at least, I'm on board with the band Ghost, and I sort of get it now. It's sort of like the Misfits and Slayer, where they may sing about really ghoulish, gory type stuff, but it's just a persona. It's just what the band is putting across. Obviously, it's not who they are. They're not Satan worshipers and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of look at it that way. And I hear a lot of another band that I really enjoy, which is Blue Oyster Cult, being mixed in with that. And so I am a big fan of like Alice Cooper, the Misfits, Blue Oyster Cult, stuff like that. So I'm getting a lot of it mixed in here, and that's kind of a cool thing. Anyway, there you go. That is my new music finds, episode number 40, and I've got 16 things there for you guys to take a peek at and see if it sparks any interest for you. And I'm going to leave, as I said, a link in the description below to some related videos, the Kiss Destroyer review and Sting the Bridge review. And certainly if you've enjoyed this video, please share it out on social media. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, everyone, take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.